Arizona, 2017. Inside a quiet courtroom, the air is heavy. Fluorescent lights flicker above rows of wooden benches. The faint rustle of papers and the echo of footsteps mark the rhythm of another day in family court. But for one woman sitting at the plaintiff's table, this isn't just another hearing. It's a return to the nightmare she spent years trying to escape. She survived an assault that changed her life. She gave birth to a child from that trauma. And now she's being forced to fight her attacker again, not for justice, but for custody. K7 Media presents The Rapist Who Sued for Custody. The story begins 6 years earlier in Phoenix, Arizona. The woman's name has been kept confidential for her safety. In 2011, she met Christopher Bowen, a man she barely knew, but trusted enough to meet once. That trust would turn to horror. She was attacked, violated, left to piece together her life with nothing but courage and disbelief. She did everything a survivor is told to do. She went to the hospital, filed a police report, and worked with investigators. Months later, a new reality took shape. She was pregnant. Against all odds, she chose to keep the baby. Friends said she refused to let the violence define her child. "This baby didn't hurt me," she told them. "He's the only good thing to come from something evil." She built a life around her son, quiet, careful, and full of routine. For 6 years, she found peace in the ordinary, morning cartoons, packed lunches, evening prayers. Until one day, a letter arrived that would shatter everything. The letter came from the family court. It was a notice to appear, a request for joint custody, filed by the man convicted of raping her. She thought it had to be a mistake. Surely the system wouldn't allow it, but the law wasn't written to protect her, not yet. Under Arizona law at the time, parental rights could only be terminated after a conviction, and Bowen's appeal was still pending. On paper, he was a father, and fathers have rights. Her attorney called it a nightmare loophole, the judge called it procedure, and the woman who had once fought for her life now had to face her attacker again, not across a police lineup but across a courtroom. She would later tell reporters, "I had to look at him. I had to hear his lawyer talk about what kind of father he could be. It made me sick." The hearings dragged on for months. Each time she walked through those courthouse doors, passing through metal detectors, sitting across from the man who had stolen her peace, she said it felt like being violated all over again. What she didn't know then was that this wasn't just her story. It was a reflection of a larger failure. At the time, more than half of US states allowed rapists to petition for custody or visitation if no formal termination order existed. In Arizona, the law simply hadn't caught up. It saw biology, not trauma, paperwork, not people. Advocates began to take notice. The Arizona Coalition to End Sexual and Domestic Violence called it a systemic betrayal of survivors. The press began to cover the hearings, but as headlines spread, she still had to show up, alone, in the same courtroom, again and again. She once said, "I survived him once, but now I'm fighting him again, in front of people who call it justice." The public outcry grew. Advocates rallied at the Arizona Capitol. Survivors shared their stories. The state could no longer ignore the hole in its laws. In 2018, lawmakers passed a bill modeled after the Federal Rape Survivor Child Custody Act. It allowed judges to terminate parental rights of rapists with clear evidence, even before conviction. For the first time, Arizona law put survivors first. For this woman, it came too late to undo what she endured, but not too late to protect others. She told reporters, "If I had to go through it so no one else has to, maybe that's what I was meant to do." Her pain became progress. Her testimony helped rewrite a law that once punished the victim instead of the offender. She didn't just survive, she changed the law. This story is more than a legal case. It's a warning about how justice can sometimes fail the very people it claims to serve. It shows how strength isn't found in silence, but in speaking when your voice shakes. It's in walking back into that courtroom, not because you want to, but because you have to. She didn't just testify, she endured. And because of her, the next woman who walks into a courtroom in Arizona will have the law on her side. This has been a K7 Media presentation. Subscribe for more.